Hello. Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm John Mulaney, and it is my honor and privilege and my honor to interview one of my absolute favorite comedians and one of my favorite artists, period, in the world, Mr. Simon Amstell. Simon, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm really, really good. Where are you?
I'm in London. I'm in my agent's office.
Oh, wow. I've never thought to borrow mine.
Oh, yeah. You can just, I think for Facebook Live events, ideal place to be.
Yeah. I mean, you give them a percentage of your income. I've never asked for any type of space.
Yeah, you have space. Have they got an office? Who are you with?
I'm in my dining room.
Oh, yeah. I said, who are you with?
No one.
No.
Oh,
no, I mean,
agency-wise.
Yes.
I used to be with an agency called Endeavor, and then they merged with William Morris, and they came up with a very clever name called William Morris Endeavor.
Great. Good place to be, I imagine. Right?
I guess so. There's like 3 of them, and it's one of them.
Yeah. And what you're doing, it's going well, right? Things are going well.
Yeah, I give myself the credit, though.
Okay.
We're doing Facebook Live right now, Simon. Did you know that? Because Facebook is a major social media platform. Yes. And I wanted to speak to you live rather than over correspondence because I'm very, very, very excited about your new show, What Is This? Coming to Theater 80 in New York City in the USA, where you're not from, in June for 4 weeks.
Great.
American audiences do not get to see you enough, and I am thrilled that you are doing this residency. We'll get to more about your book, Help, in a moment. But those of you who do go to see Simon at Theater 80, that is the only place in the United States where you can purchase a copy of his excellent book, Help, by Simon Amstell, currently in the United States. So go to this show to see one of the greatest comedians working and to buy a hardcover book.
That was great. Thank you. Maybe that's all we need. Do we need to do anything else?
Sometimes when I'm doing these things, I'm like, I'm very good at this.
You're so good at this. Yeah. It felt very sincere. I haven't done one of these things before. We take questions.
Sending us questions from Facebook as we speak.
Okay, cool. And in the meantime, do you want to have a chat about anything?
Yeah. Have you been well?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been well. Should we explain that we know each other? Should we explain that we did a show?
That was a given.
Oh.
But maybe you're right.
Maybe.
I know Simon.
I know John.
Yeah, from the world of comedy.
Yes. We did a show together once in Texas, and also you were in London doing some shows, and we met up and had some tea. Yes.
I asked you to tea because I knew that was a thing in London and in many ways in England. And I saw you for the first time, though, at UCB New York probably like 8-9 years ago.
But we didn't. Was there a hello then?
You were doing a set, and I told you afterwards I thought it was very funny. But I was just like a person. So, you gave me the standard Simon Amstell brush up. No, you were very nice. You had a joke that night that I have wanted, that I'm like, you hear jokes, I'm like, I want to steal that.
What was it? I felt that about watching your special recently, about many bits. So tell me which bits.
Take any of them that you want.
Okay.
But you had a line that you're talking about when you don't make plans for the day. And the line was, when you don't make plans, it just gets darker out.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's good. It almost makes the depression worth it, that line.
Yeah. I might have stolen it in conversation.
Okay.
Never professionally.
Fine. Okay.
Guess what, my friend? We got our first question from Facebook.
Oh boy. Okay.
Simon, a Facebook user asks, are you enjoying the blonde hair? Was that for New York or just for your life?
I think it might have something to do with being 38. I don't know. It's possible. It just occurred to me that I could do it. I made a film last summer that I've been editing. I did a tour and then started editing the film. And I think one of the extras had dyed blonde hair, and I kept seeing him over and over again. And it occurred to me, I could be blonde. And then I thought of all the reasons not to, and they weren't good reasons. So then it happened.
So 38 years you're alive on planet Earth, and I'd imagine you'd seen people with blonde hair and dyed blonde hair, but it was something about this extra that made you realize, now hold on one moment. I have darker hair and that person has blonde hair.
He looked happy, you know?
Well, there's an expression that no one uses anymore ever, which is blondes have more fun. But maybe we should bring it back. I don't know if now's the cultural climate to do it. Have you felt happier with it?
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like, what is it? You know, like, I don't know if you feel this. Well, you maybe do. Like, you go out and you always have a suit on, and normally you would have shaved, but I guess Facebook events are not the same.
You can tell I haven't shaved?
Yeah, look at you. But, you know, there's a certain, like, expectation of you because you've built up some kind of brand. And I thought, you know, I don't like going out and having to sort of put on some sort of Simon Amstell hat. So I got a new hat.
Yeah.
You know, and it felt very freeing. And also that life continues. You can be a different kind of, well, I mean, it's not a big deal, but it felt quite freeing.
You're saying that I've fallen into a sort of persona, one-dimensional.
Yeah, but you look great. You look great. You have lovely teeth.
That's very nice of you to say.
No problem.
I don't take very good care of them, but
they look so tidy and clean.
Thank you. I smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, so that like the fact that they are not, you know, completely horrid is a daily satisfaction to me. Okay. Simon, I have another question from a Facebook user. Oh, this one's good. What are you looking forward to about New York?
I don't know. Seeing John Mulaney. I really like that guy. He's going to be there, I hear. I don't know. I quite like being new. I went to 2 secondary schools. The first one I was there for a year, and the second one, did you say secondary school in America? Or did you say high school?
But I've read novels. I know what it is.
So, and that school closed, and so I had to go to a second secondary school in the second year, and I was wildly popular.
At the first or second?
The second one. First one, no one had any interest in me. The second one, I was like this new guy. People fancied me, and I think I've always remembered that being new somewhere is a good idea.
Absolutely, yes. I used to come to Los Angeles only very occasionally because I lived in New York for 12 years, and I would never be out here. And when I came here, everyone was excited, and I loved. Everyone was so nice that I moved here and I bought a house, and no one cares.
My glasses will occasionally steam up during this interview.
Well, my questions are down, so when I'm looking down, it's not because I'm, checking other things on my phone. I'm just reading these Facebook Live questions. I want people to know that I'm not one of those people that's also sort of refreshing their mentions.
Sure. You must be.
Constantly. My dog even looks at me on walks like,
yeah,
enough.
Yeah, what else do you need? How much do you need?
A little more.
Yeah.
Are you changing anything about your show to bring it to NYC?
I read through some notes yesterday, and there's occasionally some references to places like Norfolk, and the Norfolk is the punchline of the joke, and that's not going to work, is it? So I need to think of a way to sort that out.
May I help? Like,
Please.
How would you describe Norfolk? And I'll tell you.
It's a story about being in a sweat lodge, and you expect that I'm going to be in Peru, perhaps, and then I the punchline is that I explain what a sweat lodge is in this context, and I say that it's something that happens, a ceremony, a ritual in Norfolk, and Norfolk is the punchline. But what do I do there? I can't say a place that you wouldn't expect it to be.
Yes. So it's like the sweat lodge happens, and they normally happen in a blank, stupid place that would not be spiritual.
Yes. It's a bit sort of like a mundane location for it.
Staten Island.
Yes, but yes, great. But people But people will know that I didn't do it there. And I didn't do it. I don't want to pretend that I did it somewhere else.
No. People might think you are. There's a lot of British people living in the U.S. now, and they act on shows and they pretend to be from the U.S. The characters there. And
but I can't do this. The truth.
That guy's from America, and then he wins an Emmy, and he's like, I want to thank, you're like, what? God damn. Another one.
Yeah.
I have a hopeful question from a Canadian fan of yours. Is there any possibility of touring in Canada? I don't mean to spoil the fun, but you have just announced a show in Toronto on June 25th. It just went on sale.
Was that a real question? Or was that just your setup for the plug?
No, that's a real question.
That's amazing. Well, yes, I'm going to be in...
Where people just ask you when you're going to come to one of the places you haven't announced.
Say that again. When?
If you announced a tour of every town in England except for Stratford,
yes,
people would immediately go, "No Stratford," and you're like,
"Yeah, people do that." Yes, yeah. There's been a lot on the last tour. There was a lot of wino Wales.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you why, John. Because when I went to Wales twice, the people of Wales didn't laugh enough.
Yes, so you write that mentally off your list.
I'm like, how many times do you want me to come and be badly received?
I bombed so hard the first night I ever performed in Ireland.
Oh, but is that at the Kilkenny Festival?
Yes, which...
I think, again, people don't laugh at the Kilkenny Festival.
But it's sponsored by Smithwick's. I bombed so hard, and I genuinely was this stupid. I thought the fact that I was Irish, they would like me. And I said, this is great to be here. I'm Irish American. And they were like, what? And someone afterwards said they don't consider you Irish by being Irish American. So you lost the crowd immediately with my heritage, which was them. Oh, what? Now, you told me a little bit about the film when I saw you in London, but we have a question. What was the film you worked on, Simon, ? And I would like to have a refresher myself.
It's called Benjamin, but I probably shouldn't say too much yet because I've only just finished editing it, and also it's it's got to get into festivals, John. It's got to be.
Sell it. Do you have a log line?
Oh no, I've got like a very long, convoluted. I mean, it's about a guy seeking love from an audience when what he really needs is to experience intimacy with just one person.
Oh, he looked for love in thousands of faces when really he just needed one. There you go.
Just one. Right.
Come on, man. Lucy, age 10.
Wow.
Why aren't you in school? Ask Simon. Do an American accent, and John, would you do a British accent, please? ? Okay.
Okay.
Let me think. Okay.
Okay, hang on. Okay.
Okay. Who's going to go first?
You?
Okay. This is Jude Law in the movie Closer. Portraits.
Okay, I can't beat that. I can't do anything better than that.
One word.
What?
Perfect. Not a hint of Great Britain in that.
Cool.
Congratulations on the royal wedding, by the way. I know that that was a very, very, very big deal for you.
Yes. It's I tried to not watch it, but it's somehow almost impossible I didn't even want to have an opinion on it.
Yes.
But then they I don't like it. It, And I feel like they're there, these people. And they're people, they're people.
Well, they've been anointed by holy oil.
Or they were just born and shit comes out of them, and the whole thing's a lie. It's one of those, right?
We don't know. They tapped their phones for a while, but we never found out if shit came out of them.
What can we do about it? I'm really annoyed.
Do we like them more than you like them? We like them a lot here in the United States.
There were people there were people lining up and sleeping in tents, and I don't know who. I feel very disconnected when I see it because I think I don't know who they are. I want to be. I feel like we're all the same. We're all the same thing. We're made of the same stuff, and there are people sleeping on the streets waiting for two other people who are made of the same stuff to get married. I don't even like marriage as an idea.
Oh, well, then you would have hated it. It was a big old wedding. I did get up at 5 a.m. to watch Princess Diana's funeral, so I guess I am a bit of a sucker. Simon.
Yes.
When I say Simon, it means this is a question from someone else. I would never just keep saying your name. Simon, love your wonderful past observation of how weird it was for the Queen to have trumpets announcing her. It even seemed strange at Saturday's royal wedding as she entered the church. How have you done in the UK with What Is This? ? Is it all new material from your previous... Oh, so I guess the Queen thing was they were just saying that they liked it. How have you done in the UK with What Is This? Is it all new material from your previous stint at Theatre 80?
It's all new material, and yes, it'll be all new.
What if it was all old and you just had to say that right now?
I'm just thinking there was a moment a few days ago when I was looking through it, I thought I could do a couple of old bits as well, but I'll try and make it all. The show is all new, but it's tempting if you're in a new place. But if who's this person?
Someone from Facebook? I don't have their age like the previous young lady.
Okay. It's all new. It's a very personal new show. I'm in a relationship now, and there's a lot about that, and there's a lot about sex.
Oh, I've been updated. It's just someone from NYC. I feel that you do the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with some regularity.
Yes, usually now it's to try out stuff for a tour, but yes.
I felt like in the past decade, American comedians we've been patting ourselves on the back for burning an hour of material after we release it, and then taking a couple years to generate the next.
Right.
And you and your generation have been writing a new hour for Edinburgh every single year without acting like you're goddamn Neil Armstrong for doing it. Whereas where I feel like American comedians are like, now it's all gone, and I have to start from scratch.
Yeah, but some of those hour-long shows are quite waffly. It's not all killer. Not mine. Mine's great the whole way through. Yeah, but they're not all great the hour-long. Sometimes you think, come on, it could have been half an hour, could have been 10 minutes. Maybe you shouldn't have been on stage at all.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone for a haircut during it. People just do anything to stretch. I have a question here. I saw a lot of your earlier work, Do Nothing, Numb, and so on, reminding you of your work. It was all quite down and filled with ennui.
Mm.
Are you happy now? And if so, does that reflect in your work?
I am happy now. I'm sorry if I cause anyone to feel down. I was hoping that
ennui.
Yeah. I'm happier now. I had depression, so that would have been reflected in the stand-up. But I thought it worked for stand-up. It's not, and still, even though I'm better now. I got to the root of where that depression was coming from, and I now talk about being in a relationship. But it isn't like, oh, I'm in a relationship and it's so great. The other day, we went to the supermarket and had a lovely time. It's still like, here's the problem with that, or, here's my struggle with whatever the thing is.
Yes. I would say I never thought you seemed down. Puzzled by some of the oddities of life, I would say.
Yeah, right?
But
yeah.
You cured your you cured your depression by finding the root of it?
Well, I said root because I said cured once on stage, and somebody with depression really didn't like that.
No. I think it's quite possible, but I went the pills route, and I went the ayahuasca route. Yes, you did do that.
Yes, I found that to be very.
That's a 2-day process.
No, it was a week-long thing. There were 4 ceremonies, and after every ceremony, there was a talking circle. I don't know if we have time to go through the whole thing. It's in the book. You could read the book.
Well, I haven't.
But I found myself, I was reset from the whole experience. I saw myself in the womb. I saw myself, I saw what seemed to be the root of any anxiety or depression, and forgave myself. And there's a lot. I mean, I feel like it might dishonor the experience to talk about over Facebook Live.
I think this is the appropriate venue. I'm sorry to make a face. The idea of forgiving myself seems so far-fetched. I'm so happy for you. That's great.
Thank you very much. And how are the pills going? Going well?
They're okay. They give me dry mouth, but they make me better in social situations.
That's good. Are they just for anxiety, really?
No. A bit more of a cognitive. It's a low dosage.
Okay. Cool.
Did
you ever try magic mushrooms?
Oh, I tried them as a youth when I was a huge drug user.
Right.
But I never had a profound, I'm now going to write beautiful music from hallucinogens experience. Mm-hmm. We would take sort of, this was like the late 1990s. I think the quality of LSD and mushrooms was questionable. We also weren't artistically inspired. We were just like little 14-year-old rats. And I would also get drunk while on them. So I never really did those as pure experiences.
Okay. Well, maybe when we're both in New York?
I think, I've been sober now since 2005. I think now's the time to break it. Tell my wife,
yeah.
Hey, I fell off the wagon. What happened was I took mushrooms at Theater 80 with Simon because he's only in town for a little bit. Can you talk a bit about your movie Carnage?
Sure.
And by the way, Simon, there's a question mark at the... I guess it is a question.
Yes.
But it's also in order. Talk about your movie Carnage.
Carnage is a film. It's a mock documentary, or a mockumentary, as they're known, set in the future, set in 2067, looking back at a time when human beings ate other animals.
Yes. Wow.
And the idea of the film is because the idea is that in 2067 the young people can't understand how their grandparents could have committed such atrocities. And so the sort of fake idea of the film is to show them that the people of previous generations didn't know what they were doing. They were just doing the thing that they were told to do. It seemed fine at the time. Humans had an idea that they were separate and better than other animals, not that they were part of nature, part of the same earth. And so, and it's funny, and it's funny.
Well, in the book of Genesis, God told us the animals were ours to do whatever the hell we wanted with it. I'm paraphrasing.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. But
I guess you can't take that literally.
No, that's the that's the danger. That's the danger. Yeah.
Yes, I felt that way about powdered wigs. I'm like, literally, like if you went up to those people back then and you were like, hey, no one ever again is going to do this. They'd be like, what? This is how you should look.
Yes.
You should have a big head of white hair with a ribbon in it when you're 32.
I suppose that you could do a film about that as well.
I don't know. I think I'll just do it here, try it on stage. It probably won't work that well, and then we'll never hear about it again.
Cool. Okay. Also,
I feel the same way with button-down pajamas that were a shirt and pants. That's already over. Oh. And you couldn't explain to someone younger, like, oh yeah, we used to have like with big buttons and a collar, a whole set of clothes we would get into.
I think I do have pajamas.
You have button-down pajamas, like a dad in the 50s?
Like two bits, like a jackety bit and a trouser bit. Do you mean like a
set of pajamas? You have a set of pajamas?
I don't wear them very often, but yeah, I have some actual pajamas.
I just take my shoes off and get in bed. This question is fun. Simon or John, parentheses, what's the most profound non-drug related moment you've had in the past year?
God. Well, do you want to go first, as you were included in the question?
Bound.
The
biggest would be too personal.
That's go on. I love that stuff.
Well, or I'd have to be like, "Hey, Mom, is it okay if I said?" But I haven't checked yet.
It's hard.
Oh, well, a guy named Alex Timbers, who directed the Broadway show called Oh Hello on Broadway that Nick Kroll and I did, said at the wrap party, he said, "Do you know why I love theater?" He said, "Because it's totally ephemeral. You never get it right. It only exists that night in that room, and the people are complicit. And it's never done. You're always doing it. It's always changing. It's never one way." And then that was kind of the moment I was like, I think I just want to do live audience stand up or theater, and something about cameras and everything else, and having a final product.
Mm-hmm.
I find some of that ephemeral nature of live performance more attractive.
But it didn't stop you from shooting the Netflix special.
It didn't stop me, no. What had happened was they offered me money.
Sure.
But cameras do change everything, I find.
Yeah, what do you... That's the only time I get very nervous on stage, is when it's being filmed. Then it's...
Yeah. Do you feel like sometimes your best show is like never the one you expect it to be?
Yeah, that can happen. Yes. Yeah, which one was your favorite one?
Like you'd be in some like Roadhouse in Bath, to name a place in England, and it'd be like the best show you ever did. And then you'd be at Royal Albert Hall, or the O2 Arena, and it's like it's good and everyone likes it, but it's not quite that.
Yeah. What to do about that?
Oh, I don't know if there's anything to do about it. I just wondered if I was alone.
No, you're not alone. You're not alone. I can't think of a profound experience from the last year. It might be that we have to come back to it.
Well, a year and a half ago, you took so many hallucinogens that you went inside the womb, forgave yourself, and now you're happy. So I think that's fairly...
Oh, what about this? What about this? It's sort of drug-related, but it was, well... I was at a party in my own flat, stood next to somebody who, the previous time that we had met, we'd talked for hours because of a certain illegal substance. And there was a real intimacy between us, and it felt like... A
slow-down talky one or a speed-up talky one?
No, the speed... I've never got involved in anything speeding up.
Oh, you never did?
No.
No.
No, it was a real... beautiful connection. It felt like love, it felt like love. And then I was there without any of that, and back to a kind of, anxious hosting self. And I thought, hang on, what was possible before is still in me, and I got somewhere between the two personalities. I sort of I found some middle ground where I didn't have to be this anxious loon, but also wasn't quite able to be fully in love with him. And I thought I've learned something from that experience. I don't have to keep repeating the same experience, but I've learned something and can be on a more connected, or in a more connected state. So that was good.
I like that a lot.
Thanks, John.
I actually just realized I learned that my dad is a very formal person, a little withdrawn from the world. And I have gradually turned into that despite all my efforts, Right. And I thought, I get what he was doing, and there's a lot of merit to that, to being not of the in the world, not of the world. And he did not add to his daily life the stress of what we were just talking about the royal wedding, where it was like, it's everywhere. I have to be up on it. I have to have a take on it. My dad did not know who Michael Jackson was.
What do you mean?
I mean, he was not connected to the ground. He's still alive. He now knows who Michael Jackson is.
That's incredible. My boyfriend is almost as bad isn't quite the right word, as disconnected from popular culture as that. We were watching a Michael Jackson documentary, one of the Spike Lee ones about the making of Off the Wall. And you know that one? You know that documentary?
No, this sounds great.
Anyway, we're watching that documentary, and he turns to me, he says, pause for a second, and he says, Janet Jackson, related? But yeah. Yeah. And I was laughing, and he wasn't sure if I was laughing because they were related and it was so obvious, or because they weren't related because they just had the same surname. He still didn't know.
Just to not know.
To not know that. Can you imagine?
That they were a family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I saw Paris Jackson in Los Angeles, Michael's daughter.
Sure.
And I was so, like, it was like, I was just like, I went, oh! Like, I lost my cool. I saw Soon Yi Previn once, and I did the same thing, where it's just like, oh, yeah. Whereas you normally could pass Sir Paul McCartney, go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And something about them, I was like, oh, mama.
At the Edinburgh Festival one year, I went up to Ruth Jones, who is over here. She was in Gavin and Stacey, co-wrote Gavin and Stacey. Yeah. Am I saying her surname? Yes, Ruth Jones. She was at the Edinburgh Festival at the party. I went up to her and hugged her. And in the hug, I realized that we had never met. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know you. And she said, it's okay, it's just nice to have a hug. I said, I'm sorry, I'm really lonely.
I went to the doctor in college my freshman year. And no, this is my senior year. I had just gone through a bad breakup, and I was really depressed, and I was going there to get a psychiatrist recommendation. And then he's just like, I'm just going to make sure you're also not, sick. And he touched my glands, like he did that. And I realized no one had touched me for like 2 months, and I almost started crying.
Oh my God.
And luckily I didn't have swollen glands.
Wow. It's good we're both a bit better now, isn't it?
Are you a good hugger?
Yeah, now I am. I had to learn it.
Me too. I'm bad. I was not naturally good at it. And people would say so immediately after hugging me.
And I try to hug my siblings, and they don't want it, They don't want it.
Yeah, we're not.
My brother does this pat, this sort of manly pat.
That's what I do. My elbow goes real high, and people would always go, "You hug weird."
Just fall into it. Just surrender to the hug.
Well, I'll tell you who didn't hug was my dad. He'd go, "Hello," because he's not going to leave himself vulnerable to that.
Yes. There are people. Are they going to lock us in?
Yeah, we're getting a wrap-up signal, but I have 10 more stories.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for doing this.
No. I do this every day, and to have you on.
Okay.
I'm so excited to see What Is This, and I'm so excited to read Help. You're the funniest. You're a total original and a great writer, comedian, thinker, and person.
I like you very much, and if people haven't seen Kid Gorgeous on Netflix, they should see it immediately.
Please do. Please watch it. And you're someone I like very much for having spoken to at length 4 times.
Great. And now 5, or was this including this one?
I think this is 4.
This is 4. Well, we get on very well. We must do it more often.
Yeah, we should do this.
Always in public. Always in public.
Always in public, and always with this microphone.
Great. Okay.
What Is This at Theatre 80, starting in June for 4 weeks? Simon Amstell. The Times of London calls it his finest show. I blew the end. Go see Simon Amstell. He's the greatest. Go read Help. It's great. Haven't read it yet myself, but I'm guessing. This has been Facebook.
Do we just wave until they turn us off? What happens now?
I mean, normally when I Skype with my parents, I just awkwardly reach up and turn it off.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, I'll walk out. Should we both walk out?
Yeah, great.
Bye.